they wanted Sandman to come out.
Yeah, and could use Metallica.
$10,000 to those guys for 30
Metallica.
for 1 minute of music.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And Sandman.
We had to pay a lot of. That's why you're only making Vince paid us all well on that. So Sandman's music took all the money for our budget. We had to pay. But if you would have came out to that song, it would have been Sandman. Would have worked.
Even the Motorhead version of Enter Sandman that was on the CD that you guys sold just wasn't the same.
Ooh. Yeah. How we get away with all that? Like November, do you remember?
November Rain. Yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Oh my God.
That was really cool.
How we get away with that?
Yeah.
We were black market bootleg underground. We loved it. People,
There wasn't a special deal work.
No.
Let's pause for a second so I can actually ask you. See, why don't I ask you a little bit about the music and stuff? Like, how did you guys get the Pulp Fiction, Ms. Lou, and November Rain, and Metallica, and all that stuff? Enter Sandman?
You really have to ask Paul Heyman that question. But I think we were just lucky Irish. We used it without permission. They didn't catch it. They liked it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
good stuff. Come up to Nirvana,
Yeah, it was all cool stuff, and they enjoyed seeing the guys.
November Rain, that was some cool stuff.
It kind of worked out his own way. Because we weren't millionaires. We weren't making the millions.
Yeah, they knew there wasn't a lot of money to steal.
They said, well, why cut this little company of Reagan? Don't even call them. It's good publicity for us.
Yeah, no, it really was. I mean, I bought CDs after watching ECW, so it really did help those.
So now
it made me a Metallica fan and a Guns N' Roses fan.
All the DVDs that Vince sells, all music done over.
Yeah.
No music is put out on DVDs.
And a lot of voiceover commentary is redone. Even the stuff where they have Joey Styles talking, I can tell it's not his original commentary in many cases. Yeah.
Joey was great, huh?
Joey was amazing,
he was ahead of his time. He was like the Gordon Soley. If you remember Gordon Soley,
I've seen that.
He was the Gordon Soley because Gordon was ahead of his time. Brother.
Oh my God.
Brother. He was ahead of his time.
Yeah.
And he just fit in. The blend was special. I mean, the merchandising, the limited
cool T-shirts.
We made a lot of money. If it wasn't for merchandise, they say that merchandise, if the gate's 100,000, it's 33,000 of merchandise. It's about 30%, about a third. So thank God, and we had how merchandise.
Yeah.
And we only carried a limited, like so many shirts. We had 6 grosses of these shirts, and that was it. 300 things of that was it.
And no offense to Gordon Soley, because everyone says he's the greatest announcer of all time. But the thing that I liked about Joey, and he's my personal favorite of all time, is just because he brought a level of energy to his announcing, where it wasn't just, I am doing sportscasting and these are the things that are going on in the ring and it's a headlock and it's a this and it's a that.
Right.
Joey brought energy. Joey was talking about this. Joey was talking about that. Everything's going on. And whatever, you were on the edge of your seat. Joey could sell soap and you'd be on the edge of your seat wanting to buy that soap,
But when Joey Styles went to WWE, worked for Vince,
they came comfortable with it, yeah.
He wasn't Joey Styles. He was another guy.
He was trying to sound like Jonathan Coachman.
You see, like at the 24/7, you see him and Taz lead up to the 24/7 event, and they just don't jive.
It seemed like he was having fun with it, and it was amazing to see a guy call a live pay-per-view from start to finish by yourself for 3.5 hours, and not need so much as a glass of water, and bring energy to every match.
Incredible thing, man!
Oh my God! Somebody call 911. He really was amazing.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that talent. Like I said,
and a nice guy too.
Yeah.
Usually, generally all the guys that made it to the top, like Kaz, Van Dam, Sabu, Joey Styles, and Michael, all those guys are really nice, pretty cool guys.
Yeah.
Because if you're kind of an asshole,
they don't have to use it.
The boys don't run you out, the office will.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell he has a lot of talent. There was a lot of talented guys that came out of ECW, so one thing about Paul Heyman, he certainly had an eye for talent. He knew, okay, I need to call Fonzie because Fonzie brings this, and I need to make sure to hold on to Dreamer because he can do this, and I need to, I see something in Public Enemy, and we can get them over, doing the dance and throwing people through tables and being rock and rock.
Was ahead of merchandising.
Yeah.
Very good.
And you guys did a lot of your own merchandising and stuff.
All of it.
Was there anything in particular particular that was ever sold a Bill Alfonso type merchandise?
There's a T-shirt. There was a T-shirt.
Didn't sell whistles?
No. Because you might whistle anywhere, but there was a few whistles in the audience here and there, and we didn't want them because they would interfere with our sound.
Yeah, I'm sure. If you had 50 whistles, it'd be crazy.
Yeah.
In fact, I kept, when I heard that you lived in the Tampa area, for the last couple months, people saying, oh, Fonzie might show up. I kept a whistle in my car just in case you showed up.
Nobody wanted to show up at that show.
There were some rumors.
No rumors. Because that show's been going on for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back there 3 weeks.
I think everyone knew you lived in the area and you had friends, so they were hoping. Maybe it wasn't rumors as much as there was hope.
Okay.
And
I never even thought about going because a friend of mine, I don't know if you met her, it was a girl who was kind of hanging around me a little bit. Cindy, kind of older broad, nice. I know her since she was 16. She was beautiful back in the day, but she had 3 kids and,
she's still beautiful.
Yeah, she's a nice little girl. She's been telling me about this little company. She lives right across the street in that complex, in subdivision. So she's been going for months.
Yeah.
And she's been saying, hey, Fonzie, why don't you come down and have this wrestling?
Really?
And I said, no, I don't do indies, no. And then I don't know why, I was having dinner with her friends and stuff, just like a week ago, and she said, oh, they're having a wrestling show. She said, would you come? I said, okay, I'll come. And then I walked in and you guys treated me like royalty, and it was...
No, it was really cool. It was exciting for everyone. There was a lot of workers that showed up that second night. Just they heard Fonzie was going to be there and they just wanted to watch it. So
I walked in because I felt the reception. I felt that everybody liked me. It was young guys, so I brought a memorabilia to look at.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Nobody steal my shit. It's all my personal shit. Look, but don't take it home. So I brought DVDs and the Bill Alfonso match going on.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then his unit and all the pictures, the magazines from Japan.
Yeah.
The wrestlers haven't even seen those.
Yeah, some of those pictures with Elegante and stuff.
But none of the wrestlers have, a lot of these young kids haven't even seen a Japanese magazine.
Yeah. No, it's amazing.
So, it helped me out, made me look like I was somebody.
Everyone loved it, and we're glad you came. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll wrap up with one more segment here in a moment.
Since we're talking about it, I was doing the show for ASW, and it was great. And after the show, I'll tell you about the show in a different segment, but I was walking there's a Shell gas station right catty corner from Strokers. I was walking over there to get a pack of Newport, and I was walking back, and by accident, there was a guy who drove up, who I haven't seen in a while, who I cashed a check for. He works at Outback's, Outback Steakhouse. And I cashed his payroll check because they all wanted to go to TNA and watch TNA. So this was recently.
Yeah, the Hardcore
week
Justice.
before I signed, 2 weeks before I signed Hardcore Justice, I went to meet Van Dam and Dixie Carter and so on and so on. And that's the night all the guys wanted to go. So this one guy that lost his license or something, had a check for $1.99, didn't have any money, and I had a couple hundred in my pocket, a credit card and a Visa or whatever. And the guy said, man, I really wanted to go. These other 2 guys are going. They're both servers here. And I know you come in all the time to the Outbacks. But I got this check and I don't got no money and I'm going to spend the night. And I said, well, what are you asking me? I'll get you in free take, no problems. Yeah, but you want to borrow $50? He says, when you cash my payroll check, just put it in your bank. I'll sign it over to you. It's $199. I said, okay. I come in all the time.
Yeah.
I meet there once a month, twice a month, 3 times a month.
Yeah.
And so I signed he signed his check, put his driver's license number because he had a piece of paper with it on. Reason he didn't cash it, he didn't have his ID with him.
Okay.
So I cashed it for him. Being a nice guy. The other 2 guys had a little money. They're all with the TNA, spent Monday night, Tuesday night to do it on Wednesday. So, he had to have money to eat and all that. But being a nice guy.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get a free cheesecake or a bloomin' honey. I never ask for nothing for free. Never. I don't want them kids to get in trouble. I got a little money. You can pay for my own food. So I cash this kid's check. So I go to put it in my bank 3 days later. And my bank says, oh, third-party check, you can't do that. Yeah, take it in his bank, have him cash it. I said, okay, not a problem. You know? So I called the kid up. No, I go to eat there like a week later. Oh, Fonzie, we love wrestling. Thank you so much. I said, oh, by the way, this check, my bank wouldn't take it. Because it was a third party. My name's not on the check. And it's an Outback Steakhouse check. So the check is good as gold. Big company. And he says, oh, don't worry, I'm going to get my driver's license in a week. My mom sent me my birth certificate. I'll get it renewed and I'll cash it right away. So this goes on for 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
And now the guy's like avoiding me, like it's his check. And I know the manager in Outbacks. I gave him wrestling tickets to ECW 10 years ago. And the guy never, when I was a manager at Outbacks, I was no assistant manager. And I blew with tickets because he was in Publix, working in Publix, being a bag boy. And he got, oh, Fonzie, I seen you on TV. I said, yeah, I brought him in pictures and a t-shirt. He never forgot me. Now I was a big shot at Outbacks. So I take the check into him and say, hey, can you cash this? I'm going to spend $100 on dinner tonight. He says, we can't do it. It's against company policy to cash any employee's checks. Just take it to, give it to the guy, he'll cash it. He says, he don't got his license. And the guy was avoiding me like to play. I don't know why. And I treated this kid good. I cashed a check for him, gave him 2 $100 bills. You know what I mean? And he should have went out of his way.
To make sure you get paid back.
So I don't know what the problem was. So I asked him a couple of times, called him up a couple of times, and said, hey, I got his cell numbers. Hey, meet me at the thing, we'll go cash this. He says, oh, I can, my girlfriend's got the car. Oh, I can, I'm out of town. I'm Canada. I said, brother, what's the problem? You don't want to cash it? I gave you 2 $100 bills, brand new. You cash the check. I can't do anything with it. I got it right here. I'll show it to you. Still.
Still isn't cashed, is it?
No. So I'm walking out of
Strokers,
Strokers.
You see this kid come by.
He was coming to pick somebody up from Strokers that went to the wrestling show. He wanted to go, but he wouldn't go because I guess he's avoided me. And look, I'll show you. Look,
absolutely.
He cashed it. Boom.
I
put a signature to put in my bank, they wouldn't take it. Right? And I took it in to show his boss, and his boss, I said, I'm going to take my kids to dinner. I did anyway. I spent $100, they didn't want to cash it against policy. So okay, I understand that. So the guy shows up, and I say, hey, I want my money right now. Let's go cash this check. First, I tell him, get out of the car. Because, there was a young kid in the car. I said, get out of the car so I can talk to you. He gets out of the car with a little attitude. He said, I'll do it tomorrow. I said, no, you've been saying that for...
where's my money, dude?
Before August 8th, 2 weeks before that, that's when I went to the show. 2 TVs before that. No, it was the pay-per-view before that, that's when I went. I didn't go that Sunday. I didn't go that Monday. I went Tuesday to wrestling. But they all did. They all did, but they knew I was going because Van Dam called me and said, John, it's time. You know what Van Dam said when he seen me?
What's that?
I've seen Van Dam. I went out there, we filmed some comedy club stuff in Cucamonga, Ranchero Cucamonga at the Improv Comedy. Van Dam and his wrestlers take over the comedy club. It was real good. And they filmed it. He's got it on RBD TV. So Van Dam said when he told me to come, he's been there 4 months or 5 months, and everybody's been blowing up his phone, calling him, hey man, give me a job because you're the world champion. I didn't call him one time, only for to do RBD radio. I never asked him for a job. And when I seen him, when I went that Tuesday, he said, Fonzie, first thing he said, thanks for not blowing my phone up. Everybody called me.
I'm sure everybody called 3 times.
You were the only ones that you should have been the one who called me. You didn't call me and beg me. Well, hell, my hands are tied. You know, only got you
got Hogan there, hiring Hogan.
They can't hire Hogan's bowlers. You know, the Nasty Boys got fired the first day they were there.
Oh,
whatever. You know, Hogan, it's up to the right, whatever. So I see this kid and I tell him, get out of the car, let me talk to you. I didn't want these embarrass him in front of the lady and the kid.
Yeah, you're gonna do it professionally.
Yeah, so I said, hey, cash this check, what's the deal? Why are you avoiding me? Why won't you cash this check? Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I said, no, we're gonna do it right now.
Right.
I'm gonna jump in your car and go. So he gets up in my face and says, no, we'll do it tomorrow. So I thought he was gonna whack me. But I had all my Puerto Rican wrestler friends within 75 feet of me. Yeah. And I said, don't touch this guy, because they seen the guy, and the kid is 260, 270, 6 foot, he's bigger than me, 500 pounds, and pretty big kid. He would rip me up in a minute, maybe.
I've heard.
Maybe.
Seen you take him Beulah.
Yeah.
I heard you smack Dusty down.
So, the kid gets a little aggressive with me, and the guys, I said, no, only if he's beating me up with ridiculously, you help me out. If not, don't touch him, because I don't want no trouble with the police, nothing like that. We gained upon him, and now it's the principal. The Buck 99 don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
He's a little bit.
He's avoiding you,
But, I don't understand his logic.
Yeah, if you owe someone money, you make it good.
Yeah, I took him to wrestling, got him in. So we ended up having an altercation. He was trying to get back in the car. I grabbed him so he wouldn't get back in the car. He pulled me into the car. He put a knife and drove off with me hanging out the car instead of him trying to hit other cars and shit. Trying to kill me.
Jeez.
Finally, I took the keys out the ignition. You know what I mean? And I got his keys. I had him begging me for my keys. So now I told my daughter the story. And she said, my God, Dad, what are you doing? She said, just rip that check up and let that thing go. I said, okay, I'll rip it up, but I still got it. She said, let it go, it's not worth the hassle. You're a nice guy, you know?
Yeah.
So he's texted me like 87 times since that incident. At Strokers.
Is he going to pay you?
He says he is.
Better. All right.
Yeah.